Mr. and Mrs. Claus. Christmas tree, and I remember that I made a Christmas tree, and I did it in the only magazine my mom had was a McCall's. Yeah. And so I did mine in a McCall's magazine, and I remember spray painting mine gold and then sprinkling, you know, the gold dust on it. I do something a little bit different. I've taken those old patterns and then I created, well, I leave mine in a book because I like the frame. And I also choose the book. Most of you know I have Scotties. So I wanted to do a Scotty tree, which I was really glad because I lost Bunny this last summer. And so I designed a tree that I put out for me. And this is what the kind of trees that I sell, because it's so funny to watch people because they'll say, what book is it done in? And I'm thinking, thank goodness I'm doing it in special books, because I'll say, oh, a snowman or a, you know, or a Santa. And of course I have folded that, you know, in those particular books. The old pattern that you remember was done all the way around. Now, I use either a book or I use a hymnal. I'll show you in a little bit later how to make it, but I made this one to be able to go out the entire year, because one, it's hard to store, and two, it's kind of like, it gives me pleasure. I like it, so why not leave it out? What I have found in the repetitive folds is they make objects. You know, a cat, a dog, you know, put a different face on it, make a pig, you know. I think it would be hard to make some of the other things, but whatever goes on the face. But again, this is a repetitive fold. It makes an object. She's lost her halo, you guys, but I'll put the halo up there so that you'll know she had one at one time, but I lost it this morning. So, all right, this is an angel. Now, for the life of me, I don't remember the angel. This particular pattern that I came up with is the repeat of the Christmas tree fold, but you reverse it, and I'm going to show you these, with the wings, so that she's flying rather than looking like a tree. This particular pattern goes further back, and I wanted to find out. I did a lot of research because I get curious. She actually was designed in the early 60s, and she's a real simple looking little gal, but the craft group did her, and it took us 3 hours, and she's only 40 pages, and she was a pistol, but I mean, you know, and she's great for a mantle because she's only half, but I mean, she took quite a bit, and I had to do a lot of helping, and we kind of, you know, came up with ideas to try to finish, and some of them were going, I don't care if I finish this or not. Saying, girls, you're not going to walk out of here like the Christmas trees, because I don't know if one or any of them ever finished their Christmas tree that we did, but I remember Barbara gave me her book and said, you finish this. This is taking too long. So Barbara Anderson gave me her book. Okay, so this is, I love using the old piano books or something like that. This one is older. Whenever you use the old paper, it's very crinkly. It's old, and I don't know if it's going to hold the fold or if it's going to fall apart. But anyhow, those are samples of what I have done with that original pattern that came out in the 70s. And it's funny because I get a lot of people coming by and they'll say, I did that. And I'll say, oh, the early 70s? You know, and it's, yes. So anyhow, we have a lot of conversation. Okay. Now, what I consider geometric folds are actually repetitive folds that are put together to make a pattern. So, an example, this is just one repetitive fold, and it's created a little zigzag. I've just moved it. I don't like this because I wanted it to hang on my wall, so I'm going to have to work with a little bit, but it's an old book. So I may end up with it being just sitting up, but I've got an awful lot of stuff sitting up, so I would like to have it on my, on my wall instead. But very old book. All right, this is a repetitive fold, and it's a combination of two, but again, a geometric shape that has been created. You really are not trying to see anything, you're just looking at it and going, oh, it's a form, it's a geometric shape, what is it? So this hangs on my wall. This particular last one, I have two of them that I have done, and this one's a little bit different because it's cut. And what I do is I actually draw out my patterns for the geometric because Lord love a duck what I'm going to come up with, and I don't like wasting a book. So I like to create something that I know I'm going to like at the end. I've only lost one book, and being a retired teacher, that's important to me that I can continue giving it, the life and stuff. So anyhow, that's a geometric fold also, but creating a design. All right, the last area that I do, and this requires a pattern. Althea, can you still hear me?
Yes,
okay, I figured she could. I draw out a pattern, and this is probably my biggest seller at Christmas time and stuff, but it's interesting to watch people because in boutiques or at Christmas, the area is really narrow, and you have to back away. It's like I explained to them, it's like an oil painting. If you're right on top of it, even Van Gogh's paintings look like a glob of paint. You have to back up and see what Monet was creating. Now notice I'm comparing myself to Monet and Van Gogh. I wanted to make sure you caught that. Anyhow,
I was just thinking that about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was.
All right. So what I tell them to do is to back up, because when you fold, you're going to multiply. Well, you can see what has happened with this. This has completely opened up the book. So the more folding that is done, the wider it becomes. And you get a panoramic look. And if it's a word, it's fairly easy because you get R-E, oh, read. You're able to see the letters. But when it's a picture, you have to get, and I explained to them, you have to find the light shade and then move until you finally get the entire picture. I created, or I did Paris in a book, and I fell in love with it, but I did my A as an Eiffel Tower. And I always fold in the book that the picture represents. I always have to explain my thinking, to some people and so on, but Paris was folded in the book, the plot. The setting was Paris. So when people look at something, I give them a clue and I say, well, if you can't tell what it is, look at the title. And so, oh, okay, it's a dragon and so on. So I haven't had but one person, she was able to spot the words very, very easily. But only one person hasn't been able to figure it out. All right, so this one, and you guys, mine, there's no telling what mine are. Oh, this one's called the middle heart, so at least I stayed with my thing. Because sometimes I'll do something for myself just to see how it works. But this is a recessive heart. This is one of my first designs that I did, and I did the origami flowers to go inside it, because when I got it done, it looked kind of bare, and so I said, okay, I want the consistency of the paper and so on, and so I did the little origami pictures, or the origami flowers. All right, this one's going to be a little bit harder. Yeah. Let me tell you the story about this one. Okay, first of all, let me tell you where the design came from. Can you read it? Get the letters.
G.
G.
O.
No.
G-I.
G. Well, there's an I in there.
Giving.
Okay, so it's
Something.
okay.
Girl Scout
It's hard.
Handbook.
Wait. Who said it?
Me.
Yes. What is it?
Girl Scout Handbook.
No. I thought you had it. No. My mom was raised in the South. Have any of you ever heard of grits?
Yep.
Girls raised in the South. Okay, so it's hard to see because I normally don't do this, but I made this after Mother passed away. But I thought Mom would have really, really appreciated this one because she wore a T-shirt when when she was in the home and stuff, and it was grits. And so I designed the Girls Raised in the South, and then, me and Goodwill, I found the old-fashioned lady, and I stuck that on there. But this is my book, so this one was done. But okay, now, so what did I fold it in? Give me some ideas as to maybe some books, because I'm always looking for 500 to 900 pages, because when you take a book, you divide it in half, because pages are put front and back. All right, so a 500-page book is only 250 folded. All right.
Little Women.
Okay, you're doing. Now, what was the first one that you said, though?
Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, Gone with the Wind. And guess what? It's a first edition.
Oh my God!
I had no idea. I started folding. I thought, oh, Gone with the Wind, how perfect. But I made myself feel good because I went on the internet to find out how much the book was worth, and it was only $47. And I said, well, I'll send it on to my granddaughter and say, appreciate the book because Mimi folded in Gone with the Wind, a first edition, but it's for your great grandmother. Okay, grits. So
There you go.
what can I say?